My name is Steve and I bought this broken farm. Let me show you around a little bit and tell you why I say it's broken. So this is a 10-acre property. This is the entrance to the land. Out there is the house. This is a 4-acre field approximately. There's a river that runs right along the field, and then over there in that group of trees is about 1.5 acres to 2 acres. That is also part of the property. Let's go take a look a little closer to the house and check out the backyard and garden area. Oh, and right up there is an osprey nest. So here you can see a little bit more detail on the house. We're not gonna get too close to the house. I don't know you guys that well yet, but I'm gonna take a look in the backyard next and show you the garden area. Puncture vine. Heck no, we are not having any of that going on. And it looks like the root's still there. But at least we got that part. Now I know where it is. Put that on the list of things to take care of. And here we have pretty much the entire backyard. We got a chicken coop up here. No chickens yet. Garden area right over here. And then we've got some fruit trees right up here. So we got a couple apple trees right here. I do have footies on them to hopefully keep the bugs out. These are basically just like a little nylon sock that you put over them, and that should keep the bugs out. We'll see in a few months whether that actually is working or not. And then right down here, we've got, I think, maybe a peach and maybe a nectarine tree with a cherry tree in the middle. The cherry tree's got some problems. I don't know what's causing it. Maybe some of you guys are fruit tree experts. We've got some, I don't know what's going on with it. The leaves never even fully leafed out. It actually did bloom and had cherries on it, but obviously it's not looking real good. Let's go take a look at the garden area. Also, we've got several more fruit trees. I think those are peach trees. I could be wrong though. I'm actually not a fruit tree expert, but I probably will have to become one. And here we go. We have this garden box, got some potatoes, some broccoli, some other stuff there. Tomatoes, basil, a couple other things in there. Got some zucchinis coming on already. More tomato plants. I don't even remember what else is in there. We've got a Bermuda grass box that we're gonna have to take care of. And another one. And then we've got various things in here. Got some peas and some watermelon. Got a little box of strawberries. And then along the edge we've got raspberries. And then if we leave the garden, we've got the river right down there. Let's take a look at that. And here we go. That is the river. This river actually borders the entire property. We actually also own a little bit of land right over there with all those trees. About 1.5 acres, maybe 2 acres. So that's a quick tour on the property. Now that you've seen the property, let's talk about why it's broken. And the first reason you can actually see right here, right along here, this river actually does flood pretty bad some years, and the river bank is eroding quite badly in spots. Let me show you the front field where it's eroding the worst. We probably can't even see it. There we've got a little rabbit in the front yard. And right over here, this also probably won't show on camera very well. There's a killdeer nest over here that I want to be careful of. There goes one flying. Now here we are back in the front field, more views of the river. And way down there is the start of our property. Now, as you can see, this riverbank along here has eroded quite badly in spots. Now, that's not really an issue in the short term, but in the long term, I don't want this land to just keep eroding away. Obviously, that's part of our field right there. So I want to make sure we can keep this land here as much as possible. That is a tough challenge though, because this has to be all dealt with appropriately and within the laws and regulations of the county and state we live in. So that's one issue. The next issue is right over here in our field. So if you know anything about fields, you know that this is just a big field full of weeds. And it's the entire 4 acres just all weeds. So this is definitely an issue. There's several things we have to worry about here. One is we don't want to just be growing weeds, but 2, we need to use our water rights. We have 4 acres of water rights with this property, and you have to use them or you lose them. So we've got to figure out irrigation. We've got to figure out what we want to plant. And we've got to figure out how to kill all these weeds and get all of that done. So that's the second issue. The third issue is right over here in the corner of our property. Let's go take a look. And here's a little bit of a close-up. We kind of have a little island in the middle of the river right here. But this is the bank right here. We got probably 10 to 15 foot drop down to the riverbed. So you can see that is just eroded away quite badly over time. There's likely nothing we'll be able to do to stop the erosion completely, but we definitely do want to slow it down a little bit, as much as we can in a way that's going to be good for the land and good for the animals and fish and birds. Now, the seller of the property did leave this K-line irrigation, and they also left some hand line. So here we got a whole pile of hand line. One of the other problems we have is I'm not sure that our pump can handle irrigation, so we also may have to upgrade the pump, but we'll find that out once we try and start up the irrigation. This is probably the deepest section of river right here. You can just see how low and gross it's getting just with all the river weeds in there. We've had very little rain this spring, and so the river's very low as we're in a pretty serious drought right now. And here we have the next problem. We've got this area of willows and other shrubs along the corner of our property, and it is just totally overgrown, and these wild cucumbers are totally taking over. And then in the back there, we've got some poison hemlock. So this whole area is just totally overgrown. Let me show you one other area. A bunch more poison hemlock right down there. And a whole bunch more wild cucumber just totally taking over those willow trees. We want to save these willow trees. These are what helps our land stay here. So we want to keep as many willow trees here as possible. So we've got to take care of this wild cucumber problem. Also, down here on the edge of our land, we got a nice little beach. Let me show you. Now, it is a little intense to get to. Told you we had a weed problem. A little tiny wren over there. I think it's a marsh wren. Don't know if you saw it or not. There it is. And this is what I mean by a weed problem. I mean, these things are probably 8 feet tall. But if we get through them, we get right down here to a pretty cool little beach. And right up here we've got the Osprey Nest that I showed you at the beginning of the video. So that is problem number 3 or number 4. I don't remember, but let me go show you the next problem. So all of these trees you see behind me, those are all a part of this farm. Now, I've not actually been over there because if you'll notice, there's no bridges. Luckily, the water is getting pretty low at this time of year, so I will be able to go over there. Let me know in the comment section if you guys want to come along when I go over there and check that area out for the first time. But there's several problems that arise when you have a property across a river. One is just accessing it. There's no bridge, there's no way to really get over there, especially when the water is higher. And number 2, I'm guessing that all of that over there is just a big overgrown mess, kind of like down at the other end of our property. So once I do get over there, then I got to figure out what I want to do over there and how we can clean it all up and make it somewhat usable for something. And that just brings me to my last problem. Is there is a lot of weeds, and a few weeds that are poisonous to animals and people. I already have pulled out a bunch of the poison hemlock, but I've got a lot more to go. So that is the last problem that I can think of. That doesn't include all the little things that come with buying a farm, but I think those are all the big projects. So if you want to see me film all of those so you can watch them, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Let me know what projects you're most excited about down in the comment section. Oh, and I forgot about the last problem. The last problem is that I already have 2 other properties. One of them you've already seen on this channel, and I'm still not done with that one. I'm remodeling a house that is about 6 hours away from me, so that takes forever. But I will be making more videos about that house once I can actually get to it and get more done there. Thanks for hanging out with me today on my new broken farm, and I'll see you next time.